Hey, it's been a while, guys. How you doing? So I've been kind of busy recently. Plus my voice is still a bit sick. I'm coughing a lot and I don't want to have the streams to be too interrupted. Just took some medicines right now, so it should be holding on, at least for the stream. Hope you had a nice week. Quick announcement. I'm gonna be away for like 2 weeks because I'm going to Paris to teach a bit, so no stream, sorry. But I will be back and I will even do some double streams, some drawing stream and stuff like that. Because I have my last client of the year right now. I'm currently finishing the work with that client until the rest of the year. Aside from the Christmas and New Year and stuff like that, should be available to stream way more, so we're going to do some interesting drawing stuff and some fun stuff around drawing. Anyways, Kyo Art, welcome. Nice to meet you. How did you discover the stream? Hello, Foskog. How are you doing? Quick introduction, Kyo. My name is Timothée Maton. I'm 26 years old. I've been a concept artist and illustrator for the AAA industry since 2016. I've been working for clients including Ubisoft, Quantic Dream, Netflix, NetEase Games, Free Range Games, Shiro Games, and many more. I've been also working directly for Netflix, for Games Workshop, for D&D, other projects like that. I've been mainly doing environment, also teaching a lot. Oh, fellow friends share your content on Art Discord. Wow, so cool. Hope you will enjoy that. If you want to watch the previous presentation, we have a YouTube channel down below with all the replays, because the replays are not staying for too long on Twitch. They are staying for like 2 weeks, something like that. They're the replays on YouTube if you want to start from the beginning. And basically, the project of the channel is to teach you everything that art school won't have the time to teach you. So not that much here to teach you technique and stuff like that. I'm more about teaching you like business aspect of the job, how to find your first job, how to thrive as an artist, all the mindset part, but no woo magic and stuff like that. Mainly giving actionable advice. Oh, thanks. Thanks. Anyways, let's start. Today's about a myth. I want the next videos to address some kind of myths about the industry and about art in general. This one is going to be quite short. It's about natural talent versus hard work. It's kind of weird because pretty much every artist knows that myth. It's probably one of the most popular myths amongst artists. And this myth is very weird because it's been twisted in every direction possible. Some people will tell you that you need natural talent. So some other people will tell you it's all about hard work. Some other people will say that you need both. And in my opinion, there is a lack of subtlety when people are talking about that, because they are not explaining on which scale of time, on which scope of time you are looking at that. Hard work versus natural talent, it's mainly about improvement in general. So how much quantity and quality can you deliver at that given time? And you are always comparing that from a previous moment or to a later moment. So it's always spread across time. And generally, something that we see a lot in art is that we get very impatient. So sometimes we compare ourselves to what we were able to do maybe 2 weeks ago or even 6 months ago. And sometimes that's not enough to realize the full evolution of work that we had. I should see if I can share you some of my early work. If I compare that to 1 year ago, the difference will not be as great as if I compare from 6 years ago. And even from 6 years ago, the improvement was very fast, and now it's a bit slower and steadier. So it's all relative and depending on how much experience you have. When you have no knowledge about something, you learn very fast. Again, it's like Pareto's law. You learn 80% of the overall thing in like 20% of the time, and then it's slow and steady. It's like logarithmic. So, in my opinion, if you're looking on the short term, yeah, natural talent can help you. It's like you're naturally gifted at something, you understand it pretty easily. It's like effortless for you, whatever. Put whatever definition you want. It doesn't really matter. We can understand each other as artists when you're talking about that. On the short term, yeah, it can give you an initial kick. It can kickstart you when you're learning something. You can transpose your skills to a new one. Like, let's say you are very good at traditional drawing, but you are only drawing characters. The day you are starting perspective, you might struggle a bit. But because you already know to draw very well, you can transpose those skills pretty easily into perspective and such things. And that's kind of a problem when you are, especially when you are an art student, because sometimes you see people that are way more talented or hardworking than you. You're like, oh shit, I would never be able to compete with that. I have some stories about that. Because there is my story where basically I've been the worst student in my class on the traditional level, but I've been able to keep up with them on other aspects and to overrun them basically. But something I've seen a lot in my class were some very, very good kids. I'm thinking about 3 girls that were very, very good at drawing in general. They were really hooked on traditional drawing and stuff like that. One of them worked very hard till the end. So she was doing amazing work. The problem was that she got complacent and was kind of stuck in always what she wasn't knowing how to do. She was sticking to her comfort zone. And in the end, even though she was very good, she was not as good as she could have been at the end of the 3 years. The second one, again, she was very hardworking too, but she kind of burned the candle by both hands. And eventually she did a burnout. She had to take 1 year to recover a bit. And when she recovered, now she's working in Sweden in some kind of studio. So very good. And the third one, she was naturally gifted, working not that hard. And eventually she got she went from being the absolute best in class to being in the like average at the end of the 3 years. On the contrary, I have someone that was not in my class, but in the class prior to mine. This guy is a very good friend of mine. His name is called Corto Rudin. He's working at Atom Hawk now. In, I think it's in Ireland, Scotland. Not sure. It was Atom Hawk, very, very great company. Some nice concept art outsourcing. This guy, when he joined, he was a bit like me. He was like basically the kind of kid that no teacher wants to bet anything on that kid. It's like, hey, you're not good. You're starting from scratch. You have nothing to do here compared to all those monsters, all those kids that know how to draw very well already. And this guy, man, this guy is like the Rock Lee of concept art. Everyone was shitting on him. Nobody was believing in his capacities. This guy was working so hard. This guy was this kind of very nervous kid. Drawing in a very frenetic way. Tearing apart his sheet. Making a ball of that and restarting from scratch and making that like 5 or 6 times per hour in class. He was never satisfied, always grinding and grinding and grinding. At the end of the 3 years, he worked so hard that he was the best one in his class and nobody has to say anything. And this guy was amongst the first one in his class to get a job. And he went from junior to senior in like 2 years. This is crazy good. And now he's very highly placed in Atom Hawk. He's very, very good. And he's even training and teaching people now. And he started from zero, absolute zero. Check out his work, Corto Rudin. This guy is so freaking good and so freaking nice. He's such a nice person. By the way, he's the one who sent me the job offer from Ubisoft. So without that guy, I wouldn't have found that that job offer, and I would have got hired at Ubisoft. So I owe a lot to that guy. So yeah, the TLDR to me is like if you rely only on natural talent and you are not kindling that kind of initial flame that you have, at some point you will reach some kind of plateau. Because as I mentioned in the learning video, the video about learning and how to learn efficiently, you need to find ways to overcome the plateaus that you reach, and you need to find exterior help to do that. When you are doing like those two friends of mine that I had when I was in class, the one that was getting kind of stuck in our comfort zone and not wanting to go outside of that, not wanting to be challenged, or that other one that was so afraid of working hard, was just doing the bare minimum. You reach your natural maximum that you can only overcome when you find someone that is able to push you forward, basically. So in the short term, yeah, it will help. On the long term, because it's kind of hard to think long term as an artist when we are drawing all day long and trying to improve. But in terms of career, you will need to think on the long term. So yeah, on the long term, talent might give you the initial kick. It might get you ahead a bit, but on the long term, steady improvement thanks to hard work, nice work ethic, discipline, get you way forward. So let's start by talking about natural talent. Then we talk about hard work and how to work hard, but more importantly, work smart. Because I want to start with a premise. You know, there is a concept called the 10,000 hour rules. Like apparently, when you are working 10,000 hours on something, you become a master. The problem is that you absolutely must not spend it on learning bad things, or learning with a bad teacher, or learning a bad way to do something. That's why the working smart is as important, if not more important, than the working hard. Because you can spend 10,000 hours working on a deficient method, you'll become a master at something deficient. It might not be as useful as working like 1,000 hours on something that is very smart and efficient. It's all about ego today. Let's talk about natural talent first. First of all, we need to acknowledge and absolutely admit that some people are and probably will always be more talented than us. There's some kind of joke, like whatever you are doing, there's already a 7-year-old kid somewhere in China being able to do that better than you already with his feet. You're learning piano, there's a kid without arm in somewhere in the world able to play Beethoven and Bach and Mozart with his feet. So that's a fact that some people have natural predisposition. Same with sports. Some people are with a way better shaped body for specific sport. Like the runners, they are all super tall with giant legs. All the basketballers, very tall, long legs, but to have a lot of reach. Same with some of the MMA fighters, they are very sturdy, very wide, low center of gravity. This is like some kind of natural advantage, to be honest. And even though we might be envious of that, we need to deal with what we have. So that's something we need to accept in some way. But natural talent, let's say you have some, you need to kindle that, because if you just get complacent and you tell yourself, yeah, that's okay, I just have natural talent, I won't take care of that, I won't doing some maintenance on it. Eventually, it will either vanish or reach a plateau. Hello, Noob. How are you doing? You're doing well. Oh, by the way, Noob. This weekend, technically, in Paris, we should be having a drink with Neo. You fucking Neo. It's going to be so cool. We're gonna finally meet. It's going to be so cool. But yeah, you need to kindle that natural talent if you know you have a bit of that. Yeah, with Capu. Yeah. We're gonna have a drink with Capu and Neo. It's going to be so cool. Anyways. When you know you are gifted, especially when you arrive in class, in school, and you know you are amongst the gifted and the best kids in the class, you must absolutely not rest on your laurels, because you are starting, everyone is starting, you're just starting a bit ahead of them. So always the 80-20% rule, because at the beginning you are learning so fast, the gap between you, the gifted kid, and the people starting from scratch seems so wide. So in like 1 or 2 months, they can close the gap. Sure, I will. I will. Sure. So yeah, 80%, 80-20 rule again. When you're starting, you're learning very fast. When you are already ahead, people are closing the gap super fast. It can be very scary, so you need to be prepared for that too. What you need to do, even if you are one of those gifted kids, even though the exercise seems easy, that's something we tell all the time at school. It's like, even though if it's simple, you do the exercise, nothing more, nothing less, then you have time to do whatever you want. So you just do your best, give the exercise exactly as the teacher wants it, and then you go further in the exercise. You redo it, you do it on another similar subject, you spend time doing some studies and stuff like that, but you don't waste your time just because you think it's easy. You need to work as hard as the other kids if you want to keep being just a bit ahead, because get what? Because they have more to learn than you, they close the gap more and more and more and more and more. If you're working as hard as them, you will still be slightly ahead. But at the moment you start resting, they become better than you. So you need to be very careful about that. As a teacher, I've been seeing that all the time. Some good kids not listening because they think, oh, I already know it, it's boring, it's for noobs and beginners. It's like, dude, you're paying the same amount of money, you're spending the same amount of time in class than any other kids. First of all, respect those that are starting from scratch by not shitting on their face. Second of all, respect your own time. Still doing your best to learn something, because if you are a student in first year and I'm a teacher, that's probably because I know more than you. Because your teacher knows more than you. So you'd better listen and grasp the few gold nuggets that you still don't have, because there's always something that you don't know that your teacher will know. If you are facing those kids that are very good and you are starting from scratch, you need to think exactly the opposite. It's like, okay, I need to work very hard, because at the beginning the gap will be huge. So maybe during the first month they will roll on me, but because I have more to learn than them, if I do the work, I will close the gap and become very close to them very fast. And then I will be able to almost challenge them, not in a toxic way, of course, but to get even with them. You just need not to be discouraged from starting from scratch and seeing the difference. Because sometimes this difference is just like 1 week of work prior to school. Let's say you want to learn 3ds Max. That's the first time you open 3ds Max. It's going to be super intimidating. Let's say you've spent 2 weeks before just watching some tutorials on YouTube on how to do that, or to handle the UI, how to create a cube or to hit the render of V-Ray, yeah, you will appear like a god in front of people starting from scratch. But you don't know much. Just know you are just one chapter ahead of them. So you need to not be scared by that. You need to absolutely remind you about the 80-20% rule. And tell yourself that, okay, I will be efficient. It's going to be tough for the first month, but I will very quickly close the gap. It's going to be okay. And something else you must remember is that basically something we said previously, it's in any case, decrease the judgment of others, increase the judgment of yourself. So basically, just focus on you improving. Stop comparing yourself to other people. The teachers are here to situate you in the class and tell you if it's good or not. The other kids are not there to situate you. They are here to help you, to figure out stuff for you, and to basically allow you to have different opinions. The teachers are the only ones allowed to situate you compared to the rest of the class. Because if you are starting from scratch and there are some good ones, the gap you will perceive will be huge. While a teacher that is even better will perceive that gap as very small. And we realize that, okay, this kid just spent 1 week prior to the course learning the basics. That's fine. That's super cool. Because it's less work for that kid right now. But I'm expecting this kid already in advance to produce even more. That's about natural talents. About hard work. It's mainly how to work hard and how to work smart. Let's repeat that. The 10,000 hours rule. Don't spend 10,000 hours learning something bad. Learning a bad method, a bad technique. Instead, you must absolutely learn a good and efficient way and work on that. And that's why trying to figure that out on your own is, or of course there will always be exceptions, but bear with me, it's generally the worst way to work and to learn something. Always find someone who already made it, that is super, super good, super steady, that is a reference that shows his process or her process. You follow the process, you follow the tracks, climbing the mountain, and you are sure that with a bit of time, you will basically reach the same destination as that person because this person made it to the top. If you are trying to figure that out on your own, you might discover something, but there's no guarantee that you will reach the top. How do you know what's bad and good for you? I guess it's more of a trial and error approach. Yeah, that's something I talked previously. It's about finding a mentor, something like that. When you want to learn something, first of all, like a tutorial, something like that. Like a tutorial on Gumroad, something like that. Unless it's a very short video that is like $5, but if it's something like $20 above with like 6 to 10 hours of content, do your best to spend at least 10 days on that. Don't just watch it once. You forget about it and you think it's good. You watch it multiple times, like 2, 3, 4 times, and spend 2 full weeks on that. The first time you will do the exercise, you will be very close to what the teacher is showing you on the screen. Second time, you might be able to change a bit. And then you try again by basically... how can I say? By basically doing the same technique that you have learned, but on a different subject. And when you are able to use the different techniques on a subject that has nothing to do in common with what you have done during the exercise and what the teacher has been doing during the presentation, you know that you have acquired those skills, that you can use them on other things because you can start thinking creatively with that. if you want to really try an approach or a mentor or something like that, follow the advice of the mentor or of the technique for 3 months. And if at the end of 3 months there's no results, of course you need to have done the work. You need to be diligent in your work, discipline, work every day and stuff like that. But if after 3 months of following the method to the letter, there's no improvement, not even a slight improvement, ditch the technique and find something else. I can swear that if you are paying at least $50 for something on the internet as a tutorial, unless it's one of those scams from people that have nothing to do in the industry trying to teach you how to get a first job, basically, you follow that for 3 months. I can swear to you, if you are doing the work, there will be some huge results. If you want to be sure that this technique works, go on like Learn Squad. Learn Squad is viable 100%. There's no bad course. Same with Brainstorm, same with Schoolism, stuff like that. There's no way to get wrong with them. Schoolism, Learn Squad, Brainstorm. We get results with that, no problem. If it's random job like XX, Dark Sasuke 69 on ArtStation, and nobody knows about that person, not good. But pick someone that is famous. Pick someone that is a reference in his domain. You want to learn perspective? Scott Robertson. You want to learn lighting? Color and light. You want to learn composition? Framed ink. You want to learn cinematographic design? JAMA. You want to learn crazy photo bashing technique? Mache. You want to learn art surface modeling? Vitaly Bulgarov or Alexandre Seneschal. You want to learn industrial design and architectural design? Jan Urschel. You want to learn ZBrush? Alina Ivanchenko or Maria Ponfilova. Something like that. Just pick a reference in the domain. There's no way to go wrong with that. That's how you work smart. You pick something that you are sure will get you to the destination you want. Don't try to figure that out on your own. You will waste time, because that's something we are repeating all the time to students. It's kind of hard to accept that as a student because it's a bit patronizing. I'm kind of sorry about that, but it's part of the process. That when you are a beginner, it's very hard to have the long-term panoramic view of everything, to be kind of omniscient about everything. So there are some mistakes that you won't be able to see. When you reach some kind of mastery level, when you are at least able to teach it properly and have results, that's because you have an omniscient enough view of the overall thing that you are able to anticipate the mistakes and the pitfalls of such things. So sometimes there is a student that you see as a teacher, you know that this student is heading towards a pitfall. And that's your job to recognize that and explain to that student, hey, what you will do, what you are doing right now, it will cause that problem later and that and that and that and that. Let's say you're working 3ds Max and you are modeling on top of a Turbo Smooth. It's like, nope. Let's say you are working in Photoshop and you are working in a destructive way. Nope. Let's say you're working on Photoshop and you are only working on one layer. Nope. Let's say you're working in Photoshop and starting directly with texture brush instead of learning the hard way with the run brush. Nope. That's the kind of stuff that as a student you think you have found a shortcut. But in reality, it's like, hey, you're not learning the proper way and you are establishing some bad habits right now. And as a teacher, that's my job to teach you that, okay, you want to do that, you are kind of in a hurry, you are impatient. Okay, but you must absolutely be patient, not go towards the shortcuts or the cheating. Learn the hard way and then use those tools. Once you know, once you have the eye that is trained enough for that. It's very important. That's why learning on your own, very hard. It's not impossible. But if you want to learn on your own, you need to have reference. Don't be in your ivory tower not wanting to look at anything. Like, I want to find my style. Nope. Your style will come naturally. That's fine. Somebody we're going to talk about the style. That's another myth, I guess. Just find a reference. Stick to it. Do the work. And if after 3 months there's no result, change. If that person is a reference, that's for a reason. Also, if you want to learn something precise and if you want to improve, you need to have very, very precise objective. That's why your objective, like I want to learn matte painting with V-Ray, Maya, and compositing in Nuke, and being able to render a 200 frame panoramic of that castle above lake. Photorealistic, no paint over, fully made by me from scratch till the very end. That's a very precise objective, and that's good. It's like, I want to learn matte painting. Okay, where do you start? If you want to know more about how to set up your objective, go back to my video about goals. That's one of the first one. One of the most important one, but the TLDR is 1. State your goal. Be specific. 2. Be specific about when you will reach your goal. Set a target and date. 3. Know how you will know when you reach your goal. Develop a metric to measure your success. 4. Why is that goal meaningful to you? Give a purpose to the goal. 5. What steps are required in order to realize your goal? Develop a plan of action. 6. What obstacles will prevent you from realizing your goal? Include your weakness. 7. How will you deal with the obstacles and the distraction that may prevent you from reaching your goal? This is establishing a battle plan for each obstacle. 8. Define your checkpoints. End of the day, end of the week, end of the month, whatever. 9. Find who will help you to stay on the path with your goal. And 10. What and who along the way will ensure that you reach your goal. This is accountability. You have all of that. This is precise. You spend maybe 1 hour to think about that precisely, to figure out a solution for every problem, rather than being overwhelmed by anxiety. Like, I need to learn matte painting, but I don't know. I need to learn that and that and that and that and that. And when you are getting overwhelmed by anxiety like that, instead of finding a solution for any problem, you are finding a problem for every solution. Anytime you are like, yes, but, you are finding a problem for a solution. You need to calm the fuck out, chill. Use a chart, use a pen, use a paper, write it down. Establish a plan. Every time you have a problem, you write the problem. Then you do the technique that we have in goals about how to prevent that, how to repair that. What's the cost of inaction? We didn't talk about that, but we're gonna talk about that right now. Something I forgot to mention in the goal video is that when you have a fear, then you have the, what can I do to prevent that? What can I do to repair that? And something I forgot to mention, but that is very scary, is like, what if I let the situation evolve naturally and don't do anything for like 3 months, in 6 months, and in 1 year? Generally, this is very scary. But basically, that's how you state your objective and your goal. You write them properly. You can put that on a sheet of paper and pin that to your wall. This way you always see that, rather than just it being stuck in your head. This way, this is like a concrete physical stuff that you see all the time that reminds you of that. Then, about working smart. That's something we have said in the sunk cost fallacy video. It's not about running. It's not about sprinting a marathon. It's about doing steady advancement every day. It's all about establishing a momentum and do your best to keep it. There's a law, it's used in physics. That's something you can use in work. It's called Newton's law. It's basically a body that is already in motion is very likely to remain in motion. A body that is not in motion is very likely to not be in motion any sooner. The way you can see that in work is that basically it takes a lot of effort to start something. But once you are in the flow, once you are finding your groove, basically. It takes way less effort to maintain that state. So it's all about not stopping the momentum. At some point, there's something very important. It's like, okay, you're working a bit hard, you're a bit tired. And sometimes you're like, I don't feel like it today. It's a lot, I don't have the time and stuff like that. Just do something small, but just do at least something every day. Let's say you are training 2 hours per day, making 4 study of 30 minutes per day, something like that. Let's say for a reason, on Sunday you are tired, you're a bit sick, you have learned bad news, you don't feel it, whatever. Don't be lazy, of course, but for a reason, you don't have time, you're a bit late, stuff like that. Instead of doing 4, just do 1. Just do something. Don't spend the day without doing anything because you are stopping your momentum, basically. Just want to keep that kind of streak as if it was a killing streak in a game. You want to keep that streak. Sometimes when you are in a killing streak in a game, in like 30 seconds you make 6 kills. Then for 1 minute there's nothing. At least you don't die, so keep the streak. You are still doing the work, and it's exactly the same. There might be days you are super productive, other ones where you are not that much, but you don't want any day where there is zero productivity. You just want to keep your streak going. That's fine. That's fine. We are all tired sometimes. This is good. Same as going to the gym. Sometimes you are like, okay, I'm gonna go 5 times per week at the gym. One day is going to be pec and triceps. Second one is going to be back and biceps. Third one is going to be pec and triceps again with supersets. Fourth time is going to be legs and lumbars. And fifth time is going to be shoulders and back again. And sometimes you're like, oh, this leg, they killed me. My back is sore. I'm a bit tired, it's a bit late, it's cold. I don't want to do it. Just do a bit of gym at home. Instead of doing 1 hour, you do 30 minutes at home. But at least you have done something. Then you're like, no, I don't have the material, I don't have the squat rack. Just pick a bunch of resistance bands and do something. It's not about doing a lot, it's just about moving just a bit forward every day. There's no guilt, there's no shame, there's no, oh my god, I've not done anything today. At least you've done something. Because I'm talking a lot about this momentum and stuff like that because there's something, it's a process, it's like, generally, it's common knowledge to say that it takes 3 weeks, aka 21 days, to develop a habit. It starts very thin, very weak, very fragile, like a silk string. And the more you keep at it, the more the string hardens and becomes a chain. So if you can stick to something for 21 days, that's generally very good. That's why for some tutorials, I will say, instead of 2 weeks, you spend 3 weeks. This way you have the 21 days. And you are sure that the techniques that have been displayed in that tutorial now is becoming a habit. You know to use that. Please don't spend just 1 day on a tutorial like, okay, I've watched it, I've done the exercise, I'm done. No, redo it again and again and again and again until it's second nature. But all you need to do is not to break the streak. Instead of forcing yourself to do something you don't want, just lower the pressure. This is very important, especially when you feel that you are tired, you are crumbling a bit. Release the pressure. Do a bit less for at least 2 or 3 days, as if it was a vacation, but still do something. Then once you are rested, you start doing it again. Makes sense? It's all about lowering the pressure without stopping. And then you do your best to stick to it. Let's say you want to learn some kind of skill or work on your personal portfolio. Let's say you have like, okay, I'm gonna work 1 hour per day, every day. No excuse. You do that for 1 year. That's 365 hours of work. Let's say you don't have that sometimes. You work a bit less. You are only working 300 hours. That's still 300 hours uninterrupted. Every day working on something. I say you only have 30 minutes. That's 100 and... I'm very bad at math. That's 182.5 hours. Let's say you just have 15 minutes per day. That's still 90 hours in 1 year. That's very good. Personally, if I had just like 90 hours, just 15 minutes per day, I'm making between 9 and 12 portfolio pictures. This would be fantastic. It's just 15 minutes per day of efficient work, of course. So yeah, define your objective very precisely. That's a step 1. Step 2, find a reference that already achieved that and that is teaching his or her process. That's step 2. Step 3, follow that and keep the momentum going. That's the step 4. Step 5, when you feel you are crumbling, in order to not break that habit and make it a strong habit, lower the pressure. Step 6, stick to it until it's second nature for you. Okay? I want to talk about 2 different books about that. They are very important. That I really advise you to read. There's 2 books that I've been hearing about when I was listening to Maciej Kuchara's podcast. Maciej Kuchara, big final boss, one of the final bosses of the concept art game. And he was talking about 2 books. The first one is called Mastery by Robert Greene. It's more about finding your voice, finding your passion, finding what you are really interested in, and what you have the disposition to become a master at. Very interesting book, a bit long to read, so I advise you to listen to it as an audiobook. And not sponsored, by the way. The second one is called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. And this book, I truly advise you to listen to it or to read it. Because it's simple, it's common knowledge. It's like if you do something for an extended period of time without interruption, it will start very slow. And the result will grow exponentially. But for a very long period of time, you will see almost no result. And at some point, it will take off exponentially. I strongly advise you to read those books or to listen to them. Because they will teach you this mindset framework to really develop strong and sane habits without burning the candle by both hands. Because the compound effect is the first one to tell you that one tiny thing every day, at the end of the year, it's huge. Just taking the example of eating a pizza every week without doing the gym to burn the calories, and it's like at the end of the year, it's like 10 more kilos. That's something crazy like that. You need to be very careful about that because you can apply the same thing to work and improvement. So yeah, that's how you work hard. At the same time, you work smart in order to allow yourself to work hard. Working hard is not crunching 8 hours per day. The only people crunching 8 hours per day in art or more are art students. That's true. Because they are learning so much and it's burning them so hard. It's very hard. There's no way then to learn for 8 hours per day. Some people can. I certainly can't. Because at some point you need to rest. You need to digest what you have learned. So, yeah. You really need to be aware of when you are starting to get tired, to relieve the pressure and not stop. Because if you are not careful about that, at some point you will burn out and you will stop for like 2 weeks or 2 months, and all the progress will be lost. It's like going to the gym 5 days per week. At the end of 3 weeks, you are burnt out. You're like, okay, I'm not going this week. Then, oh no, I'm tired and it was too exhausting. Not this week. So for 2 weeks, you have not been going to the gym, and all your incredible progress that you are starting to set up, it's gone. Again, it's the 80-20% rule. You start, you learn a lot, you start to improve a lot, especially at the beginning. Then you stop. Again, 80% 20 rule, so you lose a lot. Lose the first 80% of your gains. Very fast, you start to get soft again. And you need to redo that again and again and again and again. And eventually, you are making minimalistic progress. You are making 20% of... You are keeping the 20% of progress on 80% already. So you are keeping pretty much nothing. Thank you for the follow, Shizani. Welcome. Hope you enjoyed the presentation. So yeah, you need to be very aware of when you are tired, relieve a bit of the pressure and keep going forward. Basically, if you want to learn smart and to learn hard, you need to tell yourself, am I better this evening than I was this morning? The answer is yes, even if it's just by 1 step, that's good. Keep going. All right. Is there any question? Feel free to ask some question. I'm gonna join the Discord if you want to ask some question with the voice chat directly. The people joining or watching that on YouTube as a replay, feel free to subscribe. Feel free to join us on Twitch if you want to interact with the community. Feel free to join the Discord down below. There's a link. You join, you choose a role, and you can interact with the famous community that we are building. Incredible community, very motivated, achieving people, kicking each other in the butts. And also, we're gonna tonight, this is an announcement for the Discord channel. We're gonna create a portfolio and accountability channel for those who are in the process of building their portfolio for their first job and wants to be a bit accountable to the community. I did that just after the stream. Aside from that, you can support my work. You know how to do that if you have some spare pennies. Aside from the financial aspect, the best way to support the channel is to recommend the channel, especially the Twitch one, but also the YouTube one, to people you think might benefit from the content of those videos. Is there any question? There's a lot of newcomers. Welcome, guys. Welcome. For those who don't know me, I'm repeating myself. I'm Timothée Maton. I'm 26 years old from France. I've been a concept artist and illustrator since 2016. I've been working for companies like Ubisoft, Quantic Dream, Netflix, Tennis Games, Free Range Games, Shiro, Happy Elements, Share Creators, and many more. Also been working directly for Games Workshop, D&D, and many more. I've been also a teacher. I'm doing some mentorship too. So yeah, basically teaching you everything that art school won't have the time to teach you. Not because they don't want, but because they are too busy to teach you the technique. And here you will learn the mindset, how to become a business shark when you are negotiating for your jobs, for your salary and stuff like that, for freelance. You will learn how to get your first job very easily, how to make killer portfolio that will get you hired pretty fast, because there's a framework for that. How to nail interviews, how to thrive as an artist, how to handle stress. It's like personal development plus business course for artists, basically. And no, there won't be any woo magic like do this, try to relax, bro. It's like, no, always no nonsense, actionable list of actions that you can implement in your everyday life right now. Anyways, that's stuff for tonight. Sorry, I'm still a bit sick. I'm gonna head towards Paris for the next around 2 weeks, so sorry there won't be any stream. But feel free to watch the replays on YouTube. And it's going to be nice. Oh, there's a question. I have a question about time framing when learning a subject. How do you plan a time frame for your studies? For example, I want to improve painting. I don't know how long to focus on it. Does it depend on the individual and their approach? Watch a video called The Sunk Cost Fallacy. I'm covering that. But basically the TLDR is when you are learning, it's better to do some short periods of time on one picture. And if you have a bit more time, let's say you have 2 hours, instead of working 2 hours on the same thing, do 2 hours working on the same thing, but with different subjects. Let's say you want to learn anatomy, don't spend 2 hours on the same model. Spend 2 hours, maybe 8 times 15 minutes doing some model study. Because if you're working too long on the same thing, you will become emotionally invested into it and you will be in fear of being disappointed of the results. And guess what? When you are learning something, the results at the beginning are not good. So it's a vicious circle. Instead, that's why you are hiking that by doing some kind of short studies and swapping regularly from study to study. Don't do like 2 minutes or 1 minute, that's too fast. 15 minutes to half an hour is fine. This way you don't have the time to get invested into it and you know right from the beginning that you won't have time to make it perfect. But check out the sunk cost fallacy video. It will answer to your question more in depth. And if you want to implement that into your schedule, something I advise to you is to just get a calendar. You can have something pinned on your wall. I need to get one. But you can get something like this. And you write it. And let's say you are like, okay, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. This is my non-negotiable now. And basically you build your schedule around that. Instead of trying to make it fit your current schedule, you implement that right away and you build the rest around. It's like when you are going to the gym or going to, I don't know, tennis with your buddies. It's always a fixed hour and you need to build around that. Do your best to do the same with that and it should be fine. And also, if you want to check the video, I'm sorry to sell you on my other videos. They are free, by the way. But there's a video called How to Learn 90% of Anything Fast and Easy. You can see that, and you can see that the best of the way to learn something is to get a buddy and get within a community. This can be the Discord community, by the way. But if you get a buddy, this gets you accountable. So let's say you are learning how to go to the gym. You want to go to the gym. Get a buddy to go to the gym with. This way, every day you meet, you're like, okay, I cannot let my buddy down. I promised. It gets you motivated to go to the gym regularly. Same with art. Get you a buddy where every day, same hour, you are connecting on Discord together, sharing screen, working for 1 hour, then you are doing your own things. It's going to help you tremendously. Does that answer your question? Nice. Okay, guys, gonna go. Feel free to follow or subscribe as you want on Twitch. Subscribe on YouTube. Join us on Twitch. Feel free to join the Discord down below and have a chat with other people. This is the community built to get you accountable and to help you to learn. So if you just want some buddies to get accountable to, send a message on the Discord. Say, hey, I want to spend 1 hour per day, and I can guarantee you that there might be some people interested in doing that with you. Anyways, take care, guys. And see you next time. This won't be this week. This won't be next week. So this will be the week of from November 22 to 28. I'm assuming I will get back streaming on November 24th. Something like that. Anyways, take care, guys.